Okay, in this Twitter tutorial, I'm going to cover different ways of accessing Twitter, covering accessing Twitter via the web, desktop, or mobile. I'm going to start out with accessing Twitter via the web. Of course, this is twitter.com, and that's the where you go to sign up for your account. That's where you'll likely get started in using Twitter substantially. But there are a couple of other options. I'm just going to show you one other option besides Twitter today. To get you thinking about different ways of using Twitter. So you can access Twitter through twitter.com. Another one I'm going to show you is Seismic Web. So if you're at any computer that has an internet connection, you can access your Twitter account with Seismic Web with this version, this web version. They have a desktop and a mobile version as well, as you can see up here. Right now I'm just going to cover the web version of Seismic. Now you don't have to install anything, you don't have to do anything except sign in with your Twitter account. So I'm going to click sign in with Twitter, and it's going to pull in my Twitter information. Do I want Seismic Web to access that? Yes, I do. So it's going to pull in my username and my password that I've already saved. And it defaults on the web-based version of having your home column on this side. It should show up here in a second. There it is. It has the home column, so anybody I subscribe to, when they tweet, it will show up in my news feed right here on my home column. Any mentions I have are going to be over here. Now you've got all of these options over here as well, so if I click on sent, a column shows up for everything that I've sent. Now I can X that out. Noticed something here about Seismic Web a few minutes ago about how it makes a sound now when you send a tweet. But anyway, I can click direct messages, list. So I can click a list that I have. EdTech is a list that I've created. I'm going to cover list in another tutorial, by the way. You might look for that. But so everybody that is on this list, when they make a tweet, it will show up. So this is a really good use of Twitter. Using it via Seismic. You've got more options here that you can look at on your screen. You can digest a lot of information at one time. And so as you scroll down here, I have a lot of lists that I subscribe to. I can include a number of those that would extend left to right across my screen. I'll just show you here real quick. You can see here that these things are accumulating. I can add all of my lists in here. I'm not sure if I can add them all, but certainly I can add a bunch, as you can see that I've done. So I could peruse tweets that are going on by various lists, by my news feed, so on and so on, right? So that's a really cool function to have there, and that is the web version of Seismic. Now, the next thing I'm going to cover are desktop applications, and I'm going to start with Tweetdeck. This is the one that I used regularly on my laptop computer or my desktop computer at home. Now keep in mind that with a desktop application that it's software that you're going to have to download onto your computer. So if I use Tweetdeck on this laptop, it won't be the same Tweetdeck as the desktop that I have at my home, for example. So I'd have to download Tweetdeck on my home computer and configure it the same way as I have my laptop if I want them to work the same way. Now on the web-based applications, Twitter and Seismic that I just showed you, they work the same regardless of what computer you're at. So that's something to think about. But I find that there's a lot more functionality with Tweetdeck, and I'm going to show you that real quick. I'm just going to pull it up here. So this is software I've downloaded onto my laptop, and you can see I've got it configured already for a bunch of different columns. So this is, as we looked at Seismic, this would be the same thing. My home page with all my friends and their tweets showing up. At mentions right here. I also can include my Facebook status updates. I can include a variety of columns here, much like you saw in Seismic. There's a little bit more functionality here with this application. On my tweet, when I do a status update, you might not be able to see that too well on this tutorial, but drag media and links here. So I could shrink this application and I could drag information here. So I've got this, and I could pull up this and basically drag it onto my Tweetdeck. Okay, I'm not going to get into too much of that right now. I can also add photos. I can add location or change my location here. I can add a video directly from a webcam. I can record a video right now on my computer and load it right into a tweet and send it out. I also can add another Twitter account if I have it. I can put my Foursquare account in here. I can also update a status that would go to Twitter and my Facebook account at the same time. So there's a lot of functionality with this desktop application, and that's Tweetdeck as a desktop application. Now keep in mind you can also use Seismic as a desktop application, but I'm not going to cover that today. The next thing I'm going to get into is looking at mobile. Alright, so I'm going to show you some mobile applications. Now I'm going to show you some apps, and I have an iPhone, and in order to use the apps you have to have a smartphone like a BlackBerry, an Android-based device, or an iPhone. Now you could use a cell phone to do text messaging, and you might want to go back and look at the tutorial and the basic account and settings to look at some of the commands that you can use for text messaging exclusively. But to use apps, to have a little bit more of an experience with Twitter, you have to have the smartphones that I just mentioned. So on my iPhone, I'm going to pull up the official Twitter app, and it's probably going to be, I know it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to see these on the small little webcam here, but I think you'll get the gist of what makes using Twitter with a smartphone application so attractive. So I've got my Twitter app open, my account open, and you could probably see how it scrolls through the news feed. So everybody I subscribe to showing up on my Twitter account right there. I could just thumb through and look at it that way. I can click on a particular user. Liz Pullen is a friend of mine, and we've been communicating on Twitter for quite some time. So I'm going to pull up this tweet by Liz, and notice that with this particular tweet, I can retweet it, I can favorite this tweet, I can email it to somebody, I can email it to myself, I can retweet it, can reply to her. If I click reply, I can reply right back to her. So anyway, what I like to do from time to time is that as I get a tweet that's got some information, a link to it, to some stuff that I might want to look into a little bit further, I might email it to my email account, and then I could pull it up later on my email account on my computer and have a bigger screen to look at things and to read things and to understand that information a little bit better. So that's another function of using Twitter on a smartphone. Now on the iPhone, there's a number of different Twitter applications that people use. Some of the more popular Twitter clients are Tweety, Twitter, Tweetdeck has a mobile application, Seismic has a mobile application as well. So there's just a quick overview of how to use Twitter via mobile.